good morning. How are you? Are you well? Welcome to another chapter of this diary. I think we're up to number 9 now, aren't we? Thank you so much. You're always welcome. Please come in, kick off your shoes, pop your slippers on out of the basket and pull up your favourite chair. You might have to put your project bag on the floor this week or in your lap because we've had some more new subscribers come and join us. So yeah, we're going to have to shove up a bit. But thank you, you're so welcome here. It's been a little while, hasn't it? It's been, gosh, about 2 months. I've filmed in that time actually. I've filmed or recorded three podcasts and I did a week of vlogs and then I deleted them. And yeah, I've been guilty of allowing people to get in my head a little bit, and yeah, you know, nobody has the right to make you feel anything less than perfect, do they? Anybody doesn't have that right, and yeah, shame on them. But anyway, I've decided to not give these people control, and I'm not going to allow tiny minuscule number of people to steal my joy and to stop me doing things that I enjoy and spending time with you, my friends, my pocket pals. Yeah, they're not going to take that away from me, are they, mate? So we're back, and if they don't like it, well, they can jog on, can't they? I hope they do, you know. I hope just go and cast on a new pair of socks or sew yourself a dress, bake a cake, find your joy. Please find your joy, because life is too short. Life is too short. Hey, mate. So we're back. Hey, you're a good boy, aren't you? He loves you. We're just back from the park. Well, the park. We're not back from the park at all. We've just been for a walk around the lakes. It's 8 o'clock now, Sunday the 11th of April. And we went out about 6:45 this morning. It was lovely. We were up early, around 5. Jeff, I say we, this is Jeff and I. Everybody else is asleep. Love you, baby. Yeah, we were up early, so we went for a little walk around the lake, and we didn't see a woodpecker. It was knocking so loudly, and it must have been literally in the tree next to us. I couldn't see it, but we saw so many birds, and the dawn chorus is just so uplifting, isn't it? It truly is one of my most favourite sounds. I adore it. We had a walk around the lakes. We was hoping if we might see the ducklings, but they've not hatched yet. Their nests are there, but they've not hatched yet. But I don't think it'll be long. It was April last year. So that was lovely. And then we were just on our way home. It's a bit chilly, but nothing, you know. Nothing, I've got my hat on, obviously, but nothing too cold. And then down me, it started to snow. So as I'm looking out the window now, it's a few flurries of snow. It's not going to stick. It's nothing, you know, it's just a bit of sleep, really. But I thought I'm going to come straight home and sit in front of the camera while Nick and Megan are asleep and have a chat with my friends. So here we are. Been quite busy in the last couple of months. I've knit a bit. I've crocheted a bit on my blanket. I'll show you those projects today. I've been enjoying some baking and some cooking, and I've been enjoying a new craft. Well, new to me. I've really been enjoying that. It's been great. So I'll share that with you first, I think, today. Hey, we've been busy at work. For anybody new, I run Layfamilyyarn with my husband Nick. Oh, and my name's Kelly. I assume if you're here, you're my friend, so you know me, so I don't feel the need to introduce myself. But for anybody new, hi, I am Kelly. I am partner in Layfamilyyarn with my husband Nick. And we've been refitting the shop lately. When we moved to HQ, it'll be 2 years this summer, and we fit it ourselves. Well, Nick did all the work, and we had scaffolding boards that Nick, they were used ones, and Nick planed them down and sanded them and stained them, and then we put them as shelves, and it really worked in terms of where the shop is in Ironbridge. It's at the centre of the Industrial Revolution, so it's steeped in local history, really significant global history. And Ironbridge, you know, changed the way forward for industry in so many ways, and that kind of worked with the shop. You know, it was, we built a wall from old pallets that we didn't sand them, they're rough textured, and we adore that wall. And again, the scaffolding boards with their metal ends and a bit of bashed out and a bit not perfect, it just worked. It just looked in keeping with our surroundings, and it's been great, really great. But we found reasonably quickly on a practical level that shelves are just not as easy to maximise space as like hanging rails. And when we do shows, we have the metal grid wall and things, but I mean, that's just ugly, you know, it's not pretty at all. So we didn't want that, but we wanted another solution. And then we found a system called slat wall, which wouldn't be any good for a show. It needs to be fixed to a wall. So yeah, we've been refitting the shop, which has been amazing. And we can now display so much more yarn, so much more yarn. It's brilliant. And we've started to display it now in the way that we want it to be, which is a rainbow. And that was always the vision, that we would have from red right through the spectrum of the rainbow on the one wall. But again, with the shelves, even when I did it, you didn't get the effect because of, they'd be sort of stacked up in pyramids rather than hung next to one another, so you didn't really get the effect, but it looks really good. I have been filming that throughout, but it's about 15-20 minutes long, so I might just pop that up as a standalone video. Hey, the first thing I'm going to talk to you today about is quilting. I've been having a go at quilting. Now, I've always loved quilting. I did, oh gosh, 30 odd years ago, I did textiles as one of my GCSEs, and I loved it, absolutely loved it. I think they don't teach things like that anymore, do they? I don't think, not here anyway. But yeah, I loved it. And as part of my final GCSE project, I made a tiny little cock quilt from patchwork, and yeah, it was great. I have not done anything like that since, so that's 32 years ago. And it was when we moved here, we just moved here, so September 2019, and I really wanted to make a quilt for Megan for Christmas. So I contacted a lady called Sally from You, Me and Mabel on Instagram, an amazing quilter, and she has an online fabric store. So I contacted Sally and asked her to curate me a palette of fabrics that I thought Megan might enjoy, and my goal was to make her log cabin quilt. I'd made a quilt, not a quilt, I'd made some log cabin squares before using the quilt as you go method. And I turned them into a great big cushion, and they were on the bench in the shop. And then when Jeff come along, they became Jeff's bed. And he loves that bed, he sits on it all the time. But I mean, it's not perfect, but Jeff loves it. And yeah, so I decided to make myself this quilt for Megan using log cabin. And I was doing it at work. I took the sewing machine to work, and on a Saturday afternoon when it was quiet, I'd start sewing. And this lady came into the shop to buy some yarn, and I helped her, and she saw what I was sewing, and she was like, oh, and then she did nothing but rip it to pieces. I was gutted because I was really quite chuffed with my log cabins. Did I think they were perfect? No. Did I think I would win any WI awards? No. Did I want to? No. You know, it was just me learning, playing with pretty fabrics and making something pretty for my daughter. But yeah, she just ripped it to pieces. And then sort of went on to lecture me about nesting seams and chain piecing and not doing it this way and not doing it that way. And when she left, I felt really, really despondent and demoralised, really. And then, so I put the project away and I've never picked it up since. I'll pop Jeff down and I can show you. This lady apparently was part of a guild, and she invited me to join the guild and gave me details of where they meet and how frequently, and of course I made all the right noises because I'm British, so I said, oh, that'd be lovely, thank you, I'll definitely come along. But actually I had no intention of going along because all she did was discourage me. And as a knitter, as a crocheter, if somebody came into the shop and wanted to learn to knit and then came back and showed me their work, well, I would be full of enthusiasm and praise and give them confidence and, yes, show people ways to improve or a technique that might improve their gauge or their tension or just a more helpful approach, but not just to discourage and to knock somebody down. And actually all it did was put me off joining the quilting group. So yeah, anyway, shall we show them, Jeff? Are you going to go down? You going to say hello? Oh, you going to go down? Come on then, you go down. Good boy, good boy. So let me show you the fabrics first that I initially purchased. I say these were from Sally from You, Me and Mabel, and we went through some colour choices that I liked, and yeah, she curated these for me. I think they're a Lewis and Irene range. Yeah, they are. Lewis and Irene Michaelmas. What's that say? Threaded with love, Michaelmas. I don't know if that's a line or whether it's just, well, I don't know anyway. You'll soon know. I don't know anything about anything when it comes to quilting. So yeah, I got this whole collection of fabrics and they're lovely, really, really lovely. Oh, I can't hold them all up. Oh, well, you get the idea. There's just a couple more. So that was the palette of fabrics. Just blues and pinks and different textures, and then I started to make some log cabin blocks. Right, let's just get this out there before. If you're proficient at quilting, you might enjoy this next 10 minutes and as a way to smile to yourself and acknowledge how far you've come in your journey and think, oh gosh, I remember when I used to make that mistake. And if you're the quilting police, perhaps you ought to just jog on for about 10 minutes, because I can guarantee what I'm going to show you will make you twitch and bring you out in hives. So if you are part of the quilting police, just skip on 10-15 minutes. So yeah, so I've just made these very basic blocks. Now these were made in 2019. You might be able to tell there's some puckering. They're certainly not straight. I love them. I absolutely love them. And that was as far as I got, because that lady came in and just knocked my confidence. I've never picked them up since. I've got some more strips I made here. But yeah, it's a shame, isn't it? It's like I said at the start of this video, people make you feel a certain way and it just knocks your confidence, and nobody should do that. People's teaching practices shouldn't be that, should they? Teaching shouldn't be something that discourages you to the point of not wanting to do it anymore. So they went away, never made the quilt. I will, but I didn't. And I decided at this point, I had a rotary cutter that cost about £3 from Home Bargains. And then I had, oh, that's Liberty of London. Tea for 2. I didn't know that. Huh? I didn't know I had any Liberty fabric. I feel quite accomplished now. Yeah, I had a rotary cutter that I got at Home Bargains, I think, for about £3. And I had a cutting mat that was about this big and a ruler. It's probably about this big. So I was cutting these strips by hand with scissors, which again, I know that's not the right way to do it, and I know accuracy does matter with these things, but at the time that was what we had. So with the help of my friend Jooles, I purchased a couple of jelly rolls last year. This was 2020, again with the aims of making a quilt. And yeah, just didn't time, I guess time. Knitting was always, if I've got time, it's always knitting that I could turn to. But just recently, I'll tell you what it was, when the clocks went forward, so end of March, 28th of March, and I just kept going back to this quilt and wanting to make this quilt. And I watched Kate Last Homely House East of the Sea and Gayna Tales from Cuckoo Land, and they often make quilts. I just love them. So I figured, do you know what? The clocks have gone forward. It's a bit lighter. I don't necessarily need to be cozied up on the sofa with a bag of energy balls and a good movie. You know, I can sit at the table and enjoy the light. So that's what I did. So I've started making a quilt. So excited. I've nearly finished it actually. I've finished the quilt top. I've done hand binding, hand quilting. I was going to send it off to the quilt room, but for a quilt this size it was about £170 to have it long arm quilted, which I'm not opposed to at all. But for this project, it's not necessarily an heirloom piece, you know, it's not necessarily one that I've spent a lot of money on or a lot of investment, you know, so I didn't necessarily feel the need to do that. And actually I have thoroughly enjoyed the process of hand quilting. So let me show you my quilt top first. I've been making just some, I think they're called 9, well they're not 9 patch blocks because there's 16 in them. There must be 16 patch blocks. I don't know. Anyway, look, they're just, let me try and show you one and then I can show you. You see? So they're just blocks of 16 squares. This fabric line is a Tilda and it's called Bon Voyage. I imagine I could have, or I couldn't, but I imagine proficient people could probably match these in a way that it formed a pattern, but wasn't that about that for me. So they're all the same. They're all just blocks upon block of these 16 squares. See? Yeah. And then you can probably just make out the shadow there. I've just hand quilted in a cross. The fabric I've used on the back is a sheet, a white flat sheet that I got in Tesco. It's 100% cotton. I used Egyptian cotton, so it's super soft, really soft. But yeah, I just got a flat sheet from Tesco. It's like £11, nothing fancy. Oh, there, look, you can see the zigzags. I love it. Let me show you. I'm going to stand up and show you. You won't see it all because it is huge. But I've positioned them so that the tealy colour all runs diagonally, the red does and the blue. Yeah, that's it. That's what I've been working on. This is going to be a present for my dad for Christmas, and I'm going to make one for my mum too. And yeah, so today I'm going to trim this. Oh, this batting, I think it's called. Gayna advised me on this. I bought it from a company called Elephant in My Handbag, and it's a cotton bamboo mix. It was really inexpensive. I got enough to do this whole project. It was about £18, which I was really surprised. I thought that was really reasonable. So I'm going to trim that this afternoon, and then I'm going to make the binding from, I've got some leftover strips from the jelly roll. Did I say it was a jelly roll? Yeah, anyway, I used a jelly roll. I thought it might, you know, because it is a first project, I thought that might be easier than cutting my own strips inaccurately and what have you. So yeah, I've got some leftover strips, so I'm going to use that to make the binding. And again, with University of YouTube, there's not much you can't learn, is there really? And Gayna, bless her, has been sending me some, she's at this stage of a quilt she's making, so she's been sending me some WhatsApp videos of how to do certain stages, which has been really helpful. And I said to her, you know, she said, oh, I assume you know this, but I said, assume nothing. I know nothing. Nothing. I truly knew nothing. I didn't know what thread to get. Well, I didn't know you had to have a different thread for top stitching, the quilting part. I would have just whipped off the bobbin from my sewing machine and used that. But so it's been a whole new learning process for me. Everything's a new process. Is it perfect? Absolutely not. Is it completely matched up? Absolutely not. Here's an example. Can you see there? They don't quite join. But you know what? I'm absolutely okay with that. I mean, who's going to see? My dad's not going to look at this and think, oh, that's a bit dodgy there, Kel. He's just going to be overjoyed that he's got this blanket to cuddle up in that I made him. And actually, I think if you look at the history of quilts, again, quilt police, don't listen, because I might be wrong. I probably am wrong. But I imagine the history of making quilts came from necessity, came from make, do, amend, rather than this beautiful craft that we now acknowledge it as. I imagine back in the day it was a case of, you know, sewing together the unworn bits of several worn blankets and patching them together and making something new. I think it's probably a modern thing that it's become, you know, an ornate art form, you know. So I'm okay with errors. I'm okay with them. It's fine. Of course, I want it to be the best I can make it. I don't want to just cobble together something that I'm not pleased with. But if it's not perfect, that's okay. I didn't strive for perfection. I wanted to make a quilt that I enjoyed, that will be practical and well received. And I think I've done that. So I'm hoping to do the binding today. I'm also going to be making my, do you remember, oh gosh, it must have been back in January, and I bought my Christmas fabric to make my tableware, my placemats and runner and things for the Christmas table. I think I talked about that. It must have been January, mustn't it? But I'm going to be making those this week as well, or start making those sorts of things. I'm going to do another quilt. I want to make Jeff some mats for his food. I made him one before, but I can't wash it because, well, I really did mess that one up. And the binding's not on all sides, and I think if I washed it, I think it would just go in it. So I need to make him some more of them so I can wash them, because that is just gross down there. And what I wondered was, would you enjoy me to film the process? It would in no shape, way or form be a tutorial because, well, I don't have the knowledge, skills, language, equipment. I just don't. What it would be is, well, I would call it Kelly's Rubbish Quilting Video, and it would just be us chatting and learning together. And if I think I'm happy to do it, if it might bring you inspiration's the wrong word, but if it sort of sparks a thought in your mind that, oh, actually I can have a go at that and it's not that difficult, and yeah, we can bungle our way through it together, then it would be worth doing, I think. So let me know if that's something you enjoy. Again, you know, if it would only really be of any value to somebody like me who has limited equipment and even limited knowledge, but we can just share our thoughts together. So yeah, let me know what you think. I'm so pleased with it, honestly, I'm so pleased with it, and it's just been perfect. I think when you knit and crochet all the time like I do, it's really refreshing to just have a palette cleanser, isn't it? Because I haven't knit or crocheted for about maybe 2 weeks. I've just been working on this and it's been lovely, really nice. I think it's good to have a change, isn't it? So yeah, that's my quilting. I'm going to just pause for a second because the truth is I'm hungry, my tummy's rumbling. So I'm going to go and get some breakfast and then I'll come back and I'll show you my knitting and my crochet. But I'll pop a little video in here of a recent walk. Yeah, it was a recent walk to work, so I'll pop a little video in here and then I'll catch you back in a minute. So good to be back talking with you. I'm so pleased I've decided to do this, and thank you.
Right off the bat I knew I loved you. You had that sparkle in your eyes, some kind of shimmer in your presence, unlike no other I had met. You got me spinning out of context, not really sure what I should do. This is the reason I am leaving. Can't live with or without you. Oh, won't you sing to me? There ain't no other way but to sing to me, as simple as I say. No need to overanalyze it. We grew apart more every day. When times get rough, I try to tell you we need to fight in every way. No hugs, no kisses could protect us from what the future had in store. Love is.
Hello, I'm back. I've had my breakfast. I had a bacon sandwich with red sauce. Has to be red sauce on bacon, brown on sausage for me. What about you? What do you have? Feel free, leave your sauce sauce preferences below. Got my washing up in the background. It's nice, isn't it? Told you sat at my kitchen table. You take it as you find me. Get washing up in the corner and you get the loaf of bread on the bread bin over there. That's the way it is, isn't it? The snow's gone. It's come out a bit sunny now. That walk was taken probably a couple of weeks ago, I think. And by the time I got to work, all the fog had lifted and it was a beautiful day. But the garden now is looking lovely. We planted, are you on the wonk or am I on the, I've been on the wine. That's better. What was I saying? Near the garden we planted, I don't know if I've told you on here or if it was on Instagram, but after Nick's dad passed away last year, you're in that transition where you can't imagine your future, can you? You can't imagine what that will look like. But that Audrey Hepburn phrase, oh gosh, it's completely left my mind. I think ultimately it's saying to plant a seed today is to dream or believe in tomorrow, isn't it? And that was really our sort of thinking at the time of planting our spring bulbs, because we really didn't want to do it at the time. And certainly Nick didn't want to do it. But we knew it would be important, and we knew come the spring we would really, really be thankful and appreciative. And we really are. The daffodils are beautiful. We planted them so that we had daffodils come up first, and then the tulips would start to pop up after through April. And then we've planted about 100 alliums, and they tend to flower about May. And there's a couple of them now. We've just got in the seed heads coming through. Is seed head the right word? Not seed head, you know, like the flower bulb head. And they're just starting to come through. So, yes, it's lovely. Really, really been enjoying the garden. When we started doing it last, it's amazing really how far our garden's come. And last March, we didn't have a garden as such. We just had a small plot of land on a new build site. But now it looks like a really established and lovely garden. The pergola's finished. We've got the lights up on that now. The new furniture's up and the fire table. We've really been enjoying that. I'll try and put some videos in at the end, maybe, or photos anyway. I'll see. If not, you'll see it in the future, because I'm sure I'll video from there and vlog from there. Anyway, shall we talk about some knitting and crochet? I've got a couple of projects I've been working on. I've been working on my jumper, working on my rainbow blanket, and I've been working on a couple of pairs of socks. So I've got those to show you. First, I'm going to show you a finished pair of socks though. I think last video I showed you some scrappy socks I was working on. Well, they're finished now. Oh, I love them. There is two. I'll just show you one. Oh, I love them. They're washed and blocked and ready to go in my rainbow box of socks. These are, oh, there's all the various dyers in there. There's Fine Fish, there's Dusty Dimples, there's Nora George, there's West Green Loft. There are a couple of Layfamilyyarns. Oh, who else is in there? Hedgerow Yarns, Bakery Bears. Okay, there's all sorts in there. I just love them. And I just went through my box of beautiful bits and picked out some pinks and peaches, and I used Jooles, so Sweet Violet, her toe up recipe. So it's a go day heel. I can't think of the name she gives the toe. Anyway, it's Jooles' toe up recipe, but I did use a sewn bind off as opposed to a Jenny's Surprisingly Stretchy, because I find that always does that flare. And I got this tip from Kay, again from the Bakery Bears. She used the sewn bind off on a couple of her things, and it's lovely. It's really neat, and it just takes a minute or two longer, but nothing really. But yeah, it's really neat on the top, and it doesn't flare out, which I know it's a small thing, but it's those small things and those small details that make me either love a project or not. as you will see in something coming up. So yeah, I finished those last time. I think they're on a 2.25 64 stitch. Yeah, that's it. I've got a pair of socks on the go. I've got one that I finished. Oh, where's that other one? I talked of this troublesome sock last episode and I wanted to show it you, and it must be in another bag. Oh, how frustrating. Oh well, doesn't matter. I can show you another time. Oh look, energy ball wrappers. Energy ball wrappers, a bit of ribbon and a tea bag. Honestly, the things that I find in my project bags. I love this project bag. I've showed it before, from Candy Patch Designs. It's lovely. And they're crocheted, those little hearts. And there's some buttons on the back. Really beautiful bag from a really lovely maker. So I've been working on a pair of socks for my April Sock Chronicles box, and April is yellow. Now this yarn I have been holding on to for about, oh gosh, it must be 2 years, must be. And Megan dyed it for me. She dyed it on an 80/20 high twist base, which I just love. Videos just don't convey how bouncy and squishy it is, but you'll have to take my word for it. And yeah, she dyed me 2 skeins of this for my birthday. I've never used it, it's been too special. And Megan gets so, as I do, I always get, offended's the wrong word, but I would rather, my dad was guilty of this. I knit him socks. This was before we had the sock machine, so I knit them by hand, and he wouldn't wear them because they were too special. Whereas my argument, I would rather him put a hole through them and let me make him some more, rather than just have them in a drawer. And that's the same sort of feeling Meg had for this. She was like, just use it, I want you to use it, you know. So I've used it for my April and I love it. It's just beautiful. She did such a special job. It was when we were living at Mum and Dad's while we were waiting for our house to be built, and yeah, she chucked me out of the garage one day and went in. The colours aren't coming up there really, but it's all shades of yellow and little pops of peach and little touches of dusky purple. And she'd based it on, in the UK there was an advert for EE phones, and it was a Giraffamingo. Do you remember it? And he used to strut around giving it all. Well, I used to do that all the time, and whenever the song came on, the advert, I would give it this strut like a Giraffamingo. So Megan dyed me the colour and called it Giraffamingo. I'll show you the back just so you can get, that's a better representation of the colour. Looks lovely. Really, really pleased with it. She did such a lovely job for me. So this sock then is called Amber Wings. It's by Summer Lee Knits on Instagram and Ravelry. I'm not sure, I know people are having accessibility issues with Ravelry. I'm not sure if Summer Lee has an alternative selling method platform. If she has, I'll pop it down below in show notes. If I say show notes, it's basically just a little list of where you can find me and my ramblings. But if they are in any other places other than Ravelry, I will pop that down there. I'll try and do links, but I'm not always successful with that, but I'll have a go. And the sock is called Amber Wings by Summer Lee Knits, and oh my goodness, I love it. Love it. Oh, it's amazing, honestly. It's got a Latvian braid, which I've never done before, but I can see me doing this on just about every pair of socks, mittens, hat. I just love it. The effect. Oh, the sun's come out now, look. It's just beautiful. And then all the way down the sock, you have these little dragonflies. Can you see? Oh. You can probably see them better from a distance actually, can't you? That's it. Go away, sunshine, just for a minute. And you get these dragonflies all the way down the sock, and then you've just got a contrast toe. Honestly, I just adored knitting this. It's a technique called Estonian inlay knitting, which I'd never heard of before. And it's magic. It's pure magic. Summer Lee has tutorials for it within the pattern. It's a paid for pattern, very reasonably priced, very, you know, average knitting sock pattern price. But it's absolute magic, and there's this little special technique that means you don't have to cut your yarn. And look at the inside of the sock. How these ends here are from the toe, and obviously the cuff there, but look how neat that is. Barely any ends, just, you know, your end ones here. And the dragonflies are knit using 2 strands of yarn held together. I've used these 2 beauties, sparkling ones. No, I'm telling you, no, I'm not telling you lies, I'm telling you the truth. They're held together. I've used these 2 sparkling beauties. These were from Bird Street Yarn Company, formerly Mr. B. They were in my advent calendar last year. We did an advent swap, and yeah, I'm lucky that we're doing one again this year because their advent calendar has got Surrey alpaca in it. It sounds wonderful. So yeah, I use those 2 together. You hold two yarns together to make the little dragonfly wings. And I wanted to use 2 slightly different coloured just to give it a bit more interest, just a bit more tonality to the wings, which I think it does. I absolutely love it. I'm going to do one next. I'm going to do for May a green sock, and I'm going to do chartreuse dragonflies. I really want to do one. If I can't find a pattern, which I'm sure I will be able to, I might even have a go at not designing my own sock, because I shall use Summer Lee's structure, but I would really like to do some little leaves here. And now I know the technique, having done this one, I think it would be reasonably easy to figure out. So if I can't find a pattern for the little leaf, I might have a go at doing my own. But you know, we'll talk about that. I'll share that with you at the time. But it's a heel flap and gusset construction. I don't think this was the toe from Summer Lee's pattern. I think I did Kay's umbrella toe. Well, no, I did, which is generally my go-to for a sock, top down sock. Again, and that's in the Mr. B's yarn, or Bird Street Yarn Company as they're now called. So yeah, that's it. That's the first of my April socks. I haven't cast on the second one yet because I didn't have to. I was doing a test knit, so I've just stopped that one to do a test knit. I love it. In my Giraffamingo and my Bird Street yarn, which makes it even more special. My second one is in this yarn, which is one of our yarns. It's called the 3 Ships Inn. It was part of our Squiddle Village collection, and the 3 Ships Inn is the pub in the village. Squiddle Village, if you don't know, is a fictional village that we've based a yarn collection on. Squiddle was the name Nick's dad Charlie always gave to squirrels, and when the children were little it was always like, oh, Squiddle, Squiddle. So when I'd come up with this concept for a yarn collection based on this quintessential English village, you know, with thatched roofs and picket fences and cottage garden plants inside, and there's a church and a village green with a maypole, and you know, there's always rivalry between the local cricket clubs and the allotmentier people, and they're trying to vie for the largest runner bean. You know, this real sort of quintessential English village. And yeah, we've based a whole yarn collection on Squirrel Village. So we've had a couple of colours now. I think we've had this one, obviously 3 ships in. We've got one called Squirrel Village. We've got the Village Busybody, and she lives in Rose Cottage. We've got the newcomer to the village, which has caused lots of twitching at the neck curtains. Just a bit of fun, you know. Yeah, and this colourway is the 3 ships in. And the toe is just one I grabbed off Nick's Pick and Mix wall. But I really like the colour. So I think I'll probably use this for my June because it's blue. But we'll see, I don't know, maybe. And I was doing this as a test knit for Jooles, her new flossy sock pattern. This is my second sock. I left the first one upstairs and Nick's asleep, so I'm not going to get it. But yeah, that's the pattern. It's just got these faux cables up the top, up the leg. I've done the heel. And I'm just finishing the leg, and then these cables continue into the rib. The rib all the way around has got these, well, not cables, they're twisted stitches, but the cuff is comprising of these two. It's lovely. I'm sure you've all seen it. So it is out now, the pattern. I'm sure you've all seen it. It's really, really enjoyable. And it's one of those patterns. I love these sort of patterns, you know, where it's plain at the back, bit of party on the side, plain at the front, so you can get into a good rhythm. I think it's only a 4-row repeat as well, so you kind of do one and you think, well, just do one more, just do one more, and before you know it, you're up the hill. So yeah, that's the flossy socks, and they're out on Ravelry now. I think Jooles also sells them in her Etsy shop, again, if you've got accessibility issues with Ravelry. They're really lovely. So I'll just get that finished. Now my hand quilting is finished. In the evening I've been sitting hand quilting whilst we've been watching telly. Oh, Line of Duty. Oh, you're watching it? I'm sure you are. Oh, I love it. Love it. I'm so glad the BBC don't let you watch all episodes in one go and binge watch it, because I really, really look forward to Sunday nights watching that. But oh my gosh, every week when it finishes I'm like, ah. Speaking, Grey's Anatomy, that's back on. I love that. Nick and I were so late to watching Grey's Anatomy, like incredibly late, like years late, and then we really got into it. And this last season, 16, we finally caught up. At the end of 16 we were watching it week on week, and it's just started season 17, and for the first time in all these years we're now watching it each week as it comes out from the start of the season. But I was so invested in that programme, so invested. The characters and the I was sobbing last week because the hospital's got COVID, and it's just so real, isn't it? And so it's just so insightful. It just, yeah, it really gets me. Anyway, enough of that waffle. Yep, so that's the flossy socks from lovely Jooles. As is this little sock progress creeper. She's made a few things for her shop as part of the Rainbow Chronicles, and this little had a whole collection of these. I think there's maybe 6, I think, different colours, but that one's lovely. So that's that sock. So I have done my peachy sock. I'll get it next time. I say Nick's in bed, so I don't want to go up and down. They're my only socks really I'm working on. I've been working on my rainbow blanket. It's stuffed to rafters in this bag now. It's yeah, I'm gonna have to give it a new bag soon, which is a shame because I really like, well, I'm saying that, look, all that is yarn. So I have a bag upstairs that I once The way I'm knitting or crocheting my blanket is I'm going through the 12 colours and then I'm going back out again. So I've still got half of all the yarns. So these need to be decanted into their bag upstairs, and then I'll be able to keep my project in it. So we're into June. We've been selling, oh hang on, let me pull my stitch a bit bigger, that's it. When we sell the Rainbow Chronicles, we always dye it and sell it 2 months ahead of time. And we made that decision very early on so that we were able to dye as much as people wanted, really, so we could keep on top of it. If we were doing it like sort of month on month, you know, you have to cap where you stop selling, because obviously you've got to get it shipped out to people, which postage is still taking significantly longer internationally. So it made sense for us to sell a couple of months ahead. So in April we're selling June, and then people typically get it then, you know, in plenty time, so that when it comes to that month, they're all ready to go. They've received it, they can wind it up, and they're all good to go. Anyway, that was a load of waffle. So I'm working on my rainbow blanket, and June's colour palette is turquoise. Got a few ends there, but that's okay. Oh, I love it. I love it so much. I know that is really narcissistic to say when I dyed the yarns, or Nick and I dyed the yarns, but I do love it so much. It brings me so much joy. So we've gone from pink and red to peaches and oranges, yellows, greens, and now I'm into turquoise. I've got a couple more to add in, and then we do a 10-gram palette pack and then a 20-gram mini skein bundle. So I think this is my last 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I've got one more 10-gram colour to pop in. Oh yeah, here it is. One more 10-gram colour, and then I've got my 5 20-gram colours to pop in. I only do 1 row per colour, so I always end up with these little bags of all these little nuggets. But as I say, when I get to the 12th month, I'm going to go back out again and have the colours come back out. So I keep all the little bits, they'll all go in twice. So I need to just empty that bag of all the green ones are in there as well. Yeah, I use the pattern from Lucy at Attic 24. It was a chain of 302, and I use a 3mm clover hook. I like these ones, these with the rubber coating. And I've told you before, but this project is my only ever crochet project. I've learnt to crochet doing this, and my good friend Deb Tink Hickman on Instagram, she, bless her, she started me off because I didn't know how to do the chain, so she helped me there. And yeah, I've loved it. I've really loved it. Really enjoyed it. I'm doing lots of new things, really, aren't I? You know, with the quilting and crochet, and I've got something else to show you that I haven't started yet, but I'm going to. So that's my blanket. You've all seen that before. I do love it. It's going to be so warm. It's already quite, well, I'd say it's quite heavy. It's got it must, you know, there's 6 months worth in there. So yeah, let's pop them away. This bag, by the way, is from Dolls Designs UK, a lovely lady called Maria, and she, bless her, she just thought I would enjoy it with it being rainbows. She's so kind. I know she watches this video, so hi Maria. Just have a project I've been working on, again you've seen before, there's nothing new this time, is my jumper. This bag is from, well, it's not bag, it's I don't know what she calls them. Is it a basket, a bucket? I'm not sure. It's lovely. It's from Thimble and Thread Makes, lovely Tracy, and it's rainbow, so I had to have it, didn't I? It's pink inside. Oh, it's got a rainbow pocket too, and all the way around are pockets. It's great. Literally all the way around. I've got a pen in there, my pattern, different needles for my cuffs and rib and things. Oh, let me show you this pen. I had this for Christmas from my friend Susan. Her husband Paul is, oh my gosh, he loves wood turning, but his craftsmanship is just second to none, and he's made these pens, wooden hand turned wooden pens. Honestly, it's the nicest pen I've had to write with for a long time. It just feels so lovely in your hand, so I keep that in my knitting bag. I love it. So my jumper, I think last time I showed you I had finished the sleeve, my first sleeve. Oh, there's another one of those socks, look, from Jooles. Another one there. And I've just about to do the cuff of my second sleeve, which is good. So I'm going to go down a good few needle sizes now and do the second cuff. I think I'm on a 4mm for the body and the sleeves, and then I'm going to jump down to a 2.75, which is really tight on your hands actually, because it's using slub yarn and Suri alpaca silk, so that it really is quite a tight tension. It's hard on your hands, or hard on my hands, but you know, it's only for 15 rows or so on the cuff, but it just cinches it in enough to give it that sort of balloon bishop sleeve. I was hoping to get the sleeve finished by the next time I spoke to you, because I was going to sit here with my jumper, sit here with it on, being all very like, oh, look at me, finish my jumper. But actually I haven't. I've still got the body bit to do. Once I finish that sleeve, I'm going to pick up, I took the body off its needles to try it on, and I've got about 4 inches to do before I do the rib at the bottom, so it's not much at all really. In fact, my other jumper on the needles, a love note, that's in exactly the same position. I've done the sleeves and I've just got to finish the body, and again there's only about 3 inches on that before the rib. So yeah, I mean there'll be no good this year, but this season now, but come the autumn, winter, I'm going to have 2 new jumpers. My aim is to do 3, because we are running our retreats again this year in, oh, let me move that. In November and December, we're running our Layfamilyyarn retreats, and it's Saturday, Sunday, but quite often people come on the Friday night if they're staying over, and we just meet at the local pub around the fire and have drinks and get to know each other. So essentially it's like Friday, Saturday, Sunday. So I'd like to have 3 hand knit jumpers by November, so I can wear one every day, which I think will be lovely. So I'll definitely have these 2, and I'd really like to make the Ingalls sweater by Caitlin Hunter, Boylan Knitworks. So that's my goals for that really. But those 2 will definitely be finished. That shouldn't be too long at all once I get whizzing with those. That's all I've been working on in terms of knitting and crochet really. My socks, my blanket, and then my jumper. But I'm enjoying all my projects, all of them. I've got other things on the go, of course, but I haven't worked on them. But the things I am working on, I'm really enjoying, which is lovely, isn't it? Let me just pop these down so I can show you a couple of things I've bought. Oh, let me show you this. yeah, this is another new to me craft. I'm going to, this colour, isn't that lovely? Really nice. All right, Jeff, are you a good boy? I've bought, I've treated myself this year to an advent calendar from the Stitchery, Nikki Franklin. Now, I don't embroider. I used to cross stitch. Cross stitch was my craft. That was what I did before I learnt to knit. And I always cross stitched. In fact, I've got quite a big picture up there. I'll have to show them in a vlog one time perhaps. But I have got some beautiful cross stitched pictures framed on the walls around the house. But I've never done embroidery. I've never. I don't know other than backstitch. I don't know how to do a thing. But I've bought the Nikki Franklin advent calendar as a treat to myself, and I thought in there you do get lots of her mini embroidery kits. So I thought, right, okay, I need to learn these techniques and these stitches. So I've signed up to her Language of Flowers course. Now I missed January, February, but I've got March, which was the daisy, April, which isn't released yet and is still on sale, I believe, is a rose. So I've ordered some threads, which are these here that have come. They weren't all in stock. I think that's the rose one. This one is just peaches, I think she called it. I couldn't get the one for the daisy. I'm going to just make do with these, you know. I'll use the greens from there, and I'll just use these very neutral ones here for the daisy. I've got one called Bluebell, but that's just put on the back that will follow shortly. And when you buy the course, I think it was £15, but then you've always got, I think you can do an online Zoom, a live Zoom on the morning. It's about an hour and a half, which I haven't caught it live yet, but you then get sort of access to it in a video library. But I thought it'd be a really good way for me to learn some new techniques and new stitches. So I've got those patterns and I've got the threads. I've got some linen fabric. And I'm going to have a go at embroidering a daisy and then writing a few words. And that can be the little patch on the back of my quilt that I make for gifts. Yeah, I've ordered actually a little mini embroidery kit as well. But do you remember Megan and I, again in January, I think I spoke of this, we're going to make one another an advent calendar this year. So I'm going to put some of these little bits in her advent as well, because she likes all different crafts. And so they were from the Stitchery, Nikki Franklin Designs, which is lovely. And then this little box of treats came from my mate Gayna. Oh, look at that card. That's my Jeffy. Jeff plays poodle football with Nick. I don't know whether it's football or noseball. I'm not sure which. But yeah, he plays it back and forth. He passes the ball with his nose back and forth. Now, Gayna's making a quilt using similar technique to the one I'm making, but she's been recycling her husband's old shirts, his old work shirts, and the effect is just stunning because they're all typically blue, but some have got stripes, some have plain, some have got checks. I don't know if there's spots, but you know, there's all different shades of blue and colours within and patterns within. And she's cut them up into her 2.5 inch strips, and she's making a quilt from that. I thought, what a great way of, you know, the collars might have worn, but the rest of the fabric is perfectly usable, isn't it? Anyhow, when I was speaking to her, and I said how much I loved it. Anyhow, bless her, she sent me some of Toby's shirts. I'll be going to, when I get to visit her at some point, I'll be going through Toby's wardrobe, nicking his washing when she won't let me in the family bathroom in case I steal the laundry. So look, there's just all different textures and shades of blue. And this will eventually become a quilt for Megan, because her favourite colour is blue, and she has a lot of like beach themed things within her bedroom. So I think this would, with white gaps, white blocks in between, it would be really effective. There's some more in there, but I'm not going to get them all out. But yeah, she sent me some pieces of old Toby's shirts. Honestly, as a crafter, anybody else to get a box of somebody else's husband's used shirts wouldn't value it, but as crafters, that's just like precious treasure, isn't it? I was going to start going around the charity shops and, you know, looking for old cotton shirts and buying them from the charity shops to upcycle, and that's when Gayna, bless her, said she'd send me some of those. That was lovely. And I had another box of Happy Mail from my friend Sharon. She knows I love giraffes. They're my favourite. Giraffes and ducks. Lovely when people know what you like and send you things accordingly. Sharon had bought our Easter countdown box. Now I always keep one of our Easter countdown boxes because I typically really enjoy the colours in the Easter box because they're much softer, much more pastel. And this year there was Jooles' bunny pattern sock on it included. So my intention was to knit a pair of Easter socks on the countdown to Easter. But yeah, we didn't have enough. I didn't have any spare. So I didn't get one. And I just happened to say this in conversation. Anyway, Sharon's made some shorty socks. And then she sent me all the leftovers to make myself some shorty socks. I mean, how kind is that? That's just so kind, isn't it? You know, she bought the product from me and then, bless her, she sent me half back. So kind. And she's one of my very, very best friends. But all the same, so thoughtful. And this one, she dyed herself. It's beautiful. Really lovely. She dyed that one herself. So I'm going to have to put that in my cozy memories in my friendship blanket. So yeah, I am going to get myself some beautiful socks after all. I feel very lucky. I've got some truly amazing friends and people in my life that I've been met or connected with via social media. And again, that sort of comes back to what I said at the beginning. This tiny, minute number of people aren't worth sacrificing the huge number of connections that are genuine and real and honest and uplifting and enriching. And to each and every one of you, I thank you. I thank you for watching. I thank you for always allowing me to be unapologetically me and to spend time with me and my ramblings. I'm going to leave it there for this time. It's probably about an hour anyway, isn't it? Thank you so much for your company. Thank you for joining me at the table. I hope you enjoyed a little natter. And I promise we will do this again very, very soon. We will, I promise. I'm looking at doing Patreon actually, not for any financial reason particularly, other than I can make it a really safe space, a really safe community, and that I think is important. So it's something I'm looking into. I might only even do the nominal amount of, I think it's $2, which is like £1 or something. But it, yeah, I think it would allow a safer space and a community, a safer, oh, I don't know. Anyway, we'll see. It's just something I'm mulling over. And there are different reward levels where I can start offering mini skeins and things. Anyway, we'll see. It's for another conversation. Anyway, it's lovely to chat with you. Enjoy the rest of your weekend. Enjoy the rest of your Sunday. And we will catch up very, very soon. Lots of love.